Hey everybody, we are in the last and final week of Escape the Readathon now, and I've been reading a bunch between last night and today that I need to update you on. We were still on the prompt of read a book blurbed by an author you love, so I decided to start Across the Green Grass Fields after I finished the Antiemetics division. This was blurbed by Charlene Harris. Oh, on the front it's V. Schwab, that's what I was thinking of. And I did read this one, but I didn't get to submit it for that because we got back onto Pages. So I ended up submitting this for Pages. This is Prado Shadow McGuire's We Are Children series. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was a fun one. This is a horse girly who gets stuck in a world full of centaurs and unicorns and different types of horses, and it's her adventure there. I also have continued to read The Burning God. I am over 200 pages into this one. I think 220 pages into this one. I'm on part 2 now, and there's a character that was in the first book that's being reintroduced in here, and I'm kind of excited about that. I'm intrigued. Lots of devastation and war and horribleness. Par for the course with these books, but I'm really enjoying. I got to read a bunch of this on my run today as well. I already submitted 100 pages for it, 150 pages for it rather, so I am waiting to get to page 250 so I can submit another 100 pages. I am also reading Hunger and Thirst. I am about 50 pages into this one. This will be in my Ready Set Net vlog, but I am enjoying this one so far. It's Tuesday now. I am outside. I'm gonna read a little bit. It's gorgeous out after a very wet and rainy Memorial Day weekend. I think my long guys are supposed to come today. I don't know if they'll be delayed because of Memorial Day weekend, so, but if they show up, I'll go back inside. I did get 3 miles in this morning. It felt okay yesterday. My run was very bad. Something's going on with my lungs, I think. Something pulmonary. Seem to be working a lot harder than I should be. Things are feeling harder than they should, even if I'm going slow pace. But this morning I took a couple of puffs of my husband's inhaler before I left, and it wasn't back to normal, but it was better. So I think there's something going on. So I got called pulmonology. I had to get a new referral because my referral expired. Still have not gotten an appointment. Today I called again, and right now they must be on lunch. So I caught them on lunch. So their system was down for the moment. So I need to call them as soon as possible, maybe when I go inside. And I am, what, 400 and something pages through this now? 478 pages through The Burning God. I'm still enjoying this. There was one part where it was kind of anticlimactic. I expected to play a much bigger role in the book as a whole, and then it just sort of was, it was like an awesome scene, but also very anticlimactic, so it's like, oh, okay. But as with all these books, enemies become allies, allies become enemies, and back again, so I'm not really surprised by anything, but I'm still enjoying this. I just don't see how it's going to end in a happy way. It's probably just going to be devastating, but I'm enjoying this still. Our team is still on Pages, so I've been able to submit pretty much all the pages I read in here, mostly, so that's good. And then I am also still reading Hunger and Thirst. I don't know if I'm liking this one. I've
went for a walk, and she hot pug. She's a hot dog.
Silhouettes of you like a taunt. Never really know just what you want.
It is Wednesday now, and scientists are now working on prompts that match thumbnails in the host videos. So I decided that I'm going to read this, and it'll match this thumbnail from Bo's videos, Bo's sprints, her very first sprint thumbnail, and I think that matches this well enough. So I'm going to start reading this one. I have started reading this one. I'm at 16%. I know this is very dark and depressing and sad and has a lot of grief horror aspects in it, and so far I am liking it. I think the writing is kind of pretty, actually. It repeats itself a lot. At dark I become loathsome, at dark I become loathsome. It's kind of poetic and rhythmic in that way so far, but I know that this one is very, very dark, so we'll see how I get along with it. My guess is I will probably like it, at least a 3-star, but we will see how that goes. It's blurbed by Chuck Wendig and Clay McLeod Chapman and Paul Tremblay, all frenzies probably in the horror world. So this follows a man named Ashley who has lost a lot of people in his life. He's lost his wife and his child, awful losses, and he is dealing with that loss by burying people alive, but voluntarily. They hire him to do this ritual, this rebirth ritual that is supposed to help them heal and be transformed, and very transformative ritual. And he's just explaining that and kind of talking about his life and his wife and his son and all of that stuff so far in here. I feel like this might be a low plot but high vibe books, but I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. So I started this for the new prompt. I am almost done with this. I'm going to finish this up really quick this morning. I think I have like 20 minutes left in the book, so I'll finish Hunger and Thirst up for my Ready Set Net vlog, and I'll log that for pages if we ever get back to pages. We're almost done now. We're almost out. And I also finished The Burning God by R.F. Kuang last night. Now I've read all the R.F. Kuang books. I think my favorite is Catabatus, which I think is maybe an unpopular opinion, but I really loved that one. I have 2 copies of it. That's my 5-star from her. And then probably the Poppy War trilogy, then Babel, and then, or Babel, however you say it, and then Yellowface. I liked Yellowface, but it's just so different. It's such a departure from a lot of their other books. But I really liked this trilogy. I don't know if I'd ever read it again, because it is very heart-wrenching and dark and all the things. Rin is a very morally gray character. You don't always, like, you root for her because that's the perspective you're from, but she's not always easy to root for. She is someone who's fighting a war, and you know, she comes from humble beginnings. Rin has been betrayed, she's been broken down, she's had to build herself back up again multiple times. In this one, like, she's lost an arm and she's trying to figure out, you know, what she's doing at all times. She's inexperienced, and she finds herself leader of these armies and possibly a country, and she, you know, doesn't always know what she's doing. And as with the other ones, we don't know who we can trust and who we need to root for, who Rin is rooting for, and what exactly she wants. It's just very interesting. I found there's a few parts in this one where I felt to be anticlimactic, but not in a bad way, because I'm not a huge battle war reader, and I find battle scenes sometimes to be boring. I need to really care about the characters to like a battle scene. And of course there are some battle scenes in here that I just kind of zoned out a bit for. I read them all, but I don't always love a battle scene, and so sometimes I listen to the audiobook and I could tell I'm zoning out at points, and then someone dies and I'm like, oh, I better rewind a little bit, see how that happened exactly. But I do enjoy these because they're just complex and different. I'm glad I read them. I'm happy to have read them, but I'm happy it's over, so maybe I can move on to something a little more not heart-wrenching. Right, guys, that's not gonna happen. I'm reading this one. Anyways, so that's my plan for right now. I'm gonna finish Hunger and Thirst. I'm going to listen to At Dark I Become Loathsome, because I got that on Hoopla. I think I'm going to run out I have to get groceries today. I have to go to Costco because we are almost out of toilet paper, and we are out of tissue boxes. So I want to go pick up tissue boxes. The used bookstore is over there, but I just went there. But I doubt I will be able to not go. I doubt I'll be able to resist. So I'll probably go over there and just take a peek at the horror and fantasy sections. And I think my rule for myself is, unless there's something there that was already on my radar, then I'm not going to get it. Because I did buy 12 books from them Friday, and it's only Wednesday, and so I doubt there's going to be a ton there that I hadn't already seen a few days ago. But you never know. They get a ton of books. They literally take everything, so there's always something interesting to look at when you go there. And I am craving the ocean, the sound because I'm in Connecticut, the Long Island Sound. But anyways, I want to go down there and maybe read a little bit by the sea in the park, and we'll see if I actually end up doing it, but I think that's the plan. It's a rest day today. My run yesterday went decently. I don't know if I mentioned that. I took a two puffs off my husband's inhaler because he has asthma, to see if running was easier, and actually it was easier. So, I mean, it was still not back to my norm, but definitely easier. Called the pulmonologist again, and apparently my referral still isn't in. I don't need a referral for my insurance, but the office wants a referral from my doctor, and my original referral expired, so now they have to send a new referral. Apparently that can take 10 to 14 days. They're like, oh, because we have to contact your insurance. I'm like, but my insurance doesn't need the referral. That's frustrating. Because I put off calling people, and I've called them like 3 times now and still have not been able to make an appointment, and everybody knows I'll probably be like 6 months before I get on there. I still need to go to Costco, but I did have a nice walk by the ocean, and I read some or more of At Dark I Became Loathsome, listened to it on a walk, and then read a little bit sitting by the ocean. And I am like 60% of the way through this, maybe a little more, 75% of the way through this now. And I'm actually really liking this. I mean, I guess liking isn't really the right word. I'm intrigued by this. I am curious about this. I am having feelings about this book. And yes, we're following Ashley, and I don't think I mentioned that he has a lot of body modifications. His face, he has a lot of piercings, implants, scar, to make people feel unsettled when they look at him. It's an outward expression of his inward grief and pain. His son isn't dead that we know of. He went missing. He was taken and he hasn't been found. They kind of presume him dead. Yeah, so this is just about him running into all these characters that want him to bury them, but then there's also side quests, side stories of just really depraved people who have really sick inner thoughts. There's some animal harm in here. There's a man who is in love with his husband's cancer and doesn't want him to get well. So yeah, there's a lot of pain, turmoil, and transgressive acts in here. It's one of those, like a car crash you don't want to look away from. But I really love Eric LaRocca's writing, so I am enjoying this. There's also chat rooms with someone. He's chatting with one of his possible clients. I feel like I know something that I shouldn't know yet, that maybe I saw in a review, but I'm not sure if I imagined that or not. So we'll see as I get through this. So yes, I am enjoying this, enjoying as much as you can enjoy something as bleak and morbid as this. I'm enjoying it. And I went to the used bookstore again because I'm a bad person and I can't help myself when I'm here. I don't think I'll be coming that often because it gets really crowded in the summer, because this is right, it's a seaside town, and so it'll probably get really crowded and yucky when the kids get out of school. So I probably won't be back, but I was like, there can't possibly be that much more good horror after only a few days, but joke's on me. So I'll show you what I got. I got 12 more books. Yeah, I got Grey Dog by Elliot Gish. This was recommended by a few people, but I know Peyton from Book in Hand recommended this, and I have it on audio, but I figured I'd pick up a copy since it was used. So most of these are between $4 and $6, sometimes $8 if they're a hard copy, hardcover. And then I picked up Mayfly, which I have read and didn't have a copy of, so I'm glad to now have a copy of this one, Unhinged, Serial Killer, and also happens to work at Disneyland. Someone You Can Build a Nest In, which I have read and enjoyed, but do not have a copy of. So I grabbed that one. Crypt of the Moon Spider, which I know I can access on KU. There's a cute little thing in here. Anyways, which I could access on KU, but I just feel like this is gonna be fucked up and something I'm gonna want a copy of. So I grabbed that. I grabbed Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates. These are all in really great shape. There was a Victor Lavelle, The Devil in Something, and I wanted to get that one, but it was not in good shape, so I passed on it. The House in the Dark Woods is a weird horror, I think, and so I grabbed this one. I have not read this one. It's a little mini book haul. It'll also be in a book haul later on. I grabbed Human Sacrifices, which was in the fantasy section, but this is a short story horror. And then let's see what else. Too many things. And then I grabbed Stephen King by Carrie because I don't have a copy of this one. It's a nice hardcover. It was in good shape. How much did they charge me for this? $6. And then I picked up Joyland by Stephen King, which I have also read but do not have a copy of. So I am slowly, when there's things that I want that I find used in good shape, I gotta pick them up. And then I also picked up Harrow and Gideon, which I have read, but I wanted to pick up copies of eventually, but I didn't really want to buy them brand new. However, these are practically, like, they feel practically new. So I just need to grab, what's the last one? Nona, because I haven't read that one yet. And I do want to reread these because I feel like these are going to be really good upon reread now that I sort of know more about what's going on. So yes, I want to grab Nona. I'll probably grab that new now that I have the other two. So that's what I grabbed at the used bookstore, which I just went to on Friday. Anyways, I'm not going to go to the Big Barn. The Big Barn is the building that they house all literary fiction in with the outdoor stuff and the goats, but it's like a big house and they have like 4 other outbuildings. I'm not going to do that today. I've done enough damage. I'm going to need to reorganize my bookshelves to make more room for my horror, I think. Anyways, now I'm off to Costco and then I'll go back for more reading. I'm going to continue listening to A Darker Become Loathsome on my way back. I may pick up a hot dog from Costco. Craving a hot dog. I didn't get a Memorial Day hot dog. I want a hot dog real bad. Anyways, adios. Home now. Put away all the stuff. Too much Costco stuff. It's always like you go in there for 2 things, but then you're there, so you might as well pick up a bunch of stuff. But lots of the snacks and stuff were running low for the kids, so now they should be good for quite a while with all the snacks, extra snacks I just put in the basement. Summer's coming too, so they'll be home and needing lots of snacks. I had to go pick up my grocery order in a minute too for all the other groceries that we need in the house. And they don't have any cheese sticks that my son likes, so he's gonna be sad. My 15-year-old probably eats like four mozzarella sticks a day, cheese sticks a day. I don't know, at least they have protein in them. At least they have some nutrients in them. Anyways, I have now finished A Dark I Become Loathsome by Eric Lorca. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I don't really have anything more to say about it. Check trigger warnings if you're interested in this one. I don't really have any trigger warnings for the most part. There's just sometimes, these days, not much triggers me. Sometimes certain bug, more like infestation, any kind of infestation sometimes can trigger my anxiety. But other than that, I really don't have many triggers, so nothing in here really bothered me. But like I said, check trigger warnings before ever you read any horror, let alone Eric Lorca, if that's something you need to do. Take care of yourself. And I submitted this. And then next I'm going to read Seduction Theory because this is a nice short one, and I matched it with one of Sarah's thumbnails, which I'll put on the screen here. And this is, I know this is a messy novel about a couple of professors who they go off on their own for a little bit, and one of them has an affair with his secretary, and the other one starts to get close to one of her grad students, female grad students. They start training for a marathon together, And this is, but then the grad student, the mentoree, writes her dissertation or her short story. What do they call it? MFA. So she writes her thesis on what happened that summer. So yes, very messy, but I feel like this is highly entertaining. I don't know why people don't like this one. So far, I'm enjoying it, and it's pretty quick. It's less than 200, just around 200 pages, and the audiobook is pretty short as well. So I'm actually already 100 pages into this one, just listening to it while putting away all the things and doing some things that needed doing around here. So I'm gonna sit here and probably finish this up today and see what happens there. And then I need to keep chipping away at my June arcs. I think I have 4 left still. We'll see what I decide to do. I may decide to split June's Ready Set Net into 2 different videos. That way I can get all the beginning of the June books done, and then the end of June books might lump in with my July books, because my July I only have like 2, I think. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that's the plan for the rest of today. Read this book, maybe color a little bit while I listen to the audiobook, and do the mom thing. It is 7:15 on, what day is it? Thursday. And I'm about to go on my run. I have to do around 4 miles today according to my training plan, with some sprints. So we'll see. Running has still been a little off for me lately. I'm at a different part of the trail than I usually go to, but I just felt like switching it up a little bit. And this trail is a steady, very, very gradual incline, and on the way back it's a decline, so I always love it. It's always good to end or on a downhill. It's always nice. So we'll see how it is today. Hopefully it's not too buggy. It hasn't been too bad, but I do have some bug spray that I will be applying just in case. I wanted to update you on, what do I want to update you on? I don't know if I have anything. Did I tell you guys about Seduction Theory, about how I finished it and I gave it 4 stars? I thought it was just a fun, dramatic, messy time, and it was short, so I got to submit that. And then I started another Black Dagger Brotherhood book, which I have at home, and that's going as good as I expect, because those books are just a fun, very early aughts, nostalgic, paranormal, romancy time. I'm enjoying that. And I think that is all. So I'm going to go on my run, and I want to record some videos for today and get some reading done. I'm not sure how much reading I'll get done. I'm going to listen to the Black Dagger Brotherhood book because I have it on Libby on my run. Also started CJ Lee's Headlights. That'll be for my Ready Set Net vlog, but I think I'm only about 10% in. That is going well so far. Very different from her other books. Male protagonist, FBI, ex-FBI agent, researching, dealing with some paranormal events, not wanting to, but being called back to try to figure out these killings that have been happening again. And I'll have more about that in my Ready Set Net vlog, but I am also working on that book, and I have not found for either of these books a thumbnail that matches them, but I'm sure I will be able to if I go and search for it. So if I end up submitting for this prompt, I will go back and check and find a thumbnail that will match the books, and I'll put them up. But anyways, I'm gonna go on my run. We'll see how it goes today. Hopefully my lungs cooperate.
I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings.
Hello.
You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through.
I am about to have some lunch. It's not very appetizing looking, but it's just a bowl with some rice and edamame and a original griller from what is that, Morning Farms, whatever, the vegetarian brand, just to get some protein. It's just a simple lunch I throw together often, and when we have leftover rice from the dinner before. Anyways, We are still on the same prompt, so I ended up reading The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. I'm actually reading this for a book club that Brianna is putting on, the horror catch-up or horror classics book club. I forgot what we named it, but I will link her and this down below. Our live is going to be on June 20th. So I decided to grab this since it's short and I could get another book in before we switch. And I read this one. This is just a weird little horror novella about two guys floating down a river. They have to make camp on this abandoned, deserted island. They're surrounded by wilderness, and they start to hear things and see things, and they get very, very scared and maybe have some run-ins with some creatures. I don't want to give anything else away because it is very short, but this was written in the early 1900s, 1907, I believe. And so this is definitely an old one and definitely a classic. So I finished that one up and I inputted it. And then, oh, I mentioned this one. This is Lover Revealed by J.R. Ward. It is the fourth book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. It's a vampire paranormal romance series, but I feel like it's like almost leans more Omegaverse in the way that these vampires behave. You can research that if you want. I'm not going to do, it's a whole thing. There's a whole world, there's a whole subplots in here, but each one is based on a couple. And this is Butch and starts with an M. Marissa? Yes. Ooh, I remembered both names. Look at that. Butch and Marissa's love story. Marissa is a vampire who used to be the king of the vampires. Not lover, but person that he fed off of, because they have to feed off of the opposite sex to get the most strength, and has to be someone of their species. So Marissa was the vampire that would feed the king, but he rejected her and ended up, he didn't really reject her because his is the first book. So you can read that if you're curious, but he ended up bonding with a different female. And so, you know, she was left out in the cold, so to speak, and no one really wants her anymore because she has been rejected by the king. That's kind of was supposed to be her purpose. And she was rejected by him because he met someone else and fell in love. So she's sad. And then Butch is a human, but then something happens in this book, and they have had inklings of a love story in the past books. But of course, she's a vampire, he's a human, so that would be a difficult relationship to navigate. But Butch is in an alliance with the vampires. He basically has a friendship. He's part of the family now. He's in the inner echelons of the Black Dagger Brotherhood because of the events that happened in the first several books. And so this is his love story. Finding this very interesting so far. There's stuff that's happened in here that I wasn't expecting to happen. And yeah, I love these books because it's just, I've grown to know this world and these characters, and it's sort of like a non-comforting place. You know, like it's comforting, but it's not a comfortable book because it is sort of kind of like a horror-y, paranormal-y aspect to it. And as far as romances go, I tend to need a little extra stuff, you know, other than a contemporary romance. Although I do like contemporary romance on occasion, but I'm learning that maybe this is more stuff up my alley. I need to like try out all my contemporary romances so I can get them off my shelves if I don't want to keep them. I need more space for my paranormal romance and my Omegaverse and my horror and my fantasy. Anyways, that's that. And right now, yeah, I'm going to eat my lunch. I am on sprints with Deja, and I'm going to listen to that while I'm eating my lunch. And then I was listening to Sarah's new video that she just put up, but I had to pause that because I wanted to get this clip filmed, and I want to listen to Deja while she's on break. And then I'm going to film my first couple of draws for the Tarot Readathon, which I have my Tarot Readathon shirt on today. This came in yesterday. Isn't it cute? I don't even know if you could see it, but yeah, you'll see that in another vlog anyway. Anyways, I'll see you in a bit. I don't know how much more reading I'll get done today because I'm going to film that, and then I'm going to go on a walk with a friend, and then later this evening we have the annual town carnival, and I'm going to take my daughter there, so I'll probably have some clips some B-roll clips from that.
Issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion, even though I offer all of the solutions. I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless, I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt, never really know just what you want. With you, I don't ever feel calm.
It's crunch time, people. It is the last task before we can escape the spaceship, so hopefully we're able to do it. I have been spending the day listening to the audiobook of Lover Revealed during my run. And after my run, I was coloring, doing all sorts of things, so I was able to submit all of the Z pages for this, and I feel like I want to give this 5 stars. I love these books, and I'm going to keep reading them and buying them until I stopped loving them. There's like 30 something in this series. So I have lots to read forever and ever. Amen. Unless I wanted to like binge them all in a week, but I don't think that would be a good idea. I don't think I'd like them that much if I did it. But one every other month, one a month. Yeah, I love this one. Butch is a human and Mercer's a vampire, and they have to figure out what's going to happen, and the continuing plot in all of these was really good in here. I really enjoyed that one a lot. I'm excited to see what happens with one of the characters who is young and hasn't gone through his change yet, because the vampires in this are a completely different species, so you can't make a vampire, but they do transition into vampires, and sometimes they die during that transition, depending on the circumstances and the strength of the vampires that they were born from, etc. But there's a whole world building aspect to these books that I just really, really enjoy. It's just added flavor to the books. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this one, just like I've enjoyed all the other ones, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one at some point. I do have the next 2, and then I just ordered the one after that on Pango because it was on sale for pretty cheap, and then she also had a bunch of other books that I wanted, so I got free shipping because I'm a crazy person who buys too many books. Anyway, so we're just doing some Discord sprints with our team now, hoping that we can finally get off this spaceship and escape the aliens, right? So I hope we are able to escape, as story says, escape. It is Saturday morning now. The race is on to submit these pages for the Escape the Readathon. Today and tomorrow are the final days of the readathon, and last night we were on sprints, and that was super fun. We did some Patreon sprints, and everybody's reading as much as possible. I ended up reading the first 245 pages, I think, of The Ending Writes Itself. And this morning I decided to DNF. I wasn't having fun. I read 100 pages and I was bored, and I read another 100 pages and something exciting finally happened, but I still didn't care and I was still bored. And then before bed I read another 45 pages and I gave up. So I'm about 100 pages from the end, but I just don't care. So why bother spending another hour and a half to 2 hours reading a book that I just don't care about? It is the Literally Dead book club pick for the month, so maybe I'll tune into the live and find out what happened in the end, because I am slightly curious to find out what happened at the end of the book and what the resolution and ending will be. However, I wasn't having fun getting to that point, so why bother? I don't think the ending would redeem itself enough for me to give it more than 3 stars, but as it was going, it was boring, and I was thinking possibly 2 stars. It's well written, but it's not like my cup of tea anyway. I don't always love mysteries. There has to be a specific reason for me to like just a general mystery book. I need to really be enjoying the characters or the humor or the setting or something. And I just wasn't finding anything to love in this one, sadly. I was excited to give it a try since V. Schwab co-wrote it. Alas, didn't like it, so I'm gonna DNF it. And that is that. The rest of the day, I think I'll be reading Headlights by C.J. Lead and turning that in for pages. I'm excited to read that one. So far, that one's going well. I'm not going to talk too much about it here, but it will be in my Ready, Set, Net vlog. I'm trying to finish this one last book up before I get that vlog edited for everyone. Anyways, good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor. Lexi just posted in the Discord, and scientists have escaped. Hooray! So I guess that will end this vlog here, which is good because I didn't read a ton today. It's been a snuggling with the husband, watching movies, and relaxing day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I hope you enjoyed these readathon weekly vlogs. I'm going to be doing tarot readathon next month, so that should be fun as well. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Bye.